Welcome to this week's special edition of the Huddle, where we break down two of the best games that we have on Thanksgiving coming up this Thursday. I'm Jason Mastrodonato, as always joined by my friend Anthony Handlebars Galizia, who's channeling his inner Raleigh fingers for this episode. But a couple of huge games we want to talk about on Thursday. There's a lot of great action all across eastern Massachusetts that we'll have. But maybe the biggest game is St. John's Prep against Xaverian, which you've been talking about all year, that this was going to be for all the marbles, even though Xaverian got off to that really slow start. And you're right. I mean, they're playing for a title and a trip to the postseason. What do you think is going to happen on Thursday?
Well, I think that's going to be an extremely tough contest that could really go either way, especially St. John's Prep is a run-heavy team with Johnny Thomas and Alex Moore, who have both done extremely well this year, but Xaverian has a very heavy defensive line with Maurice Hurst and Ray Goby, and then again Hunter Towdy at linebacker, who are all big hard hitters and can really clog up the lane. So it might be tough. And as we talked about before, the short and 10-minute quarters for teams that will possibly be playing in Tuesday's playoff game could really impact this game with St. John's Prep, who likes to run the clock, and Xaverian, who also does the same.
Yeah, I think that actually can make a huge impact. I mean, when you think about it, each team could really only get 2 or 3 possessions per half, and they're going to have to make the most out of them. When you look at it and you look what St. John's Prep's been able to do, obviously the run game has been huge. You got Alex Moore with 800 yards and 16-something touchdowns, and Johnny Thomas with about 1,400 yards and the same. And it's one of those things where they're going to run it 70-80% of the time, and you know it, but can Xaverian slow them down? And the way that they've been playing, they probably can, but I think that St. John's Prep just has too many weapons, and they've been playing so good this year that they're going to take. I'm going to go 28-13, St. John's Prep. What do you got?
I'm going to say 17-14. I'm going to go with Xaverian, and I think that one of the keys here for Xaverian is going to be to not really get themselves in their own trouble. I mean, you look at the Duxbury game. They lost 20-16, and they had a touchdown at the end of the game that was called back because of an illegal formation. And Duxbury's first touchdown of the game was a snap over the punter's head that was picked up in the end zone. So, all year things like that have been happening for Xaverian, and if they can string together a clean game, it really can go either way, I think.
Yeah, it should be a good one. The other game we're going to talk about is Central Catholic Andover, which another one we're playing for a league title and a trip to the postseason. Lowell, of course, who beat Andover this year and had a really nice season, mathematically eliminated via some strange scoring system, so they are not in it regardless of what happens. So it's win or go home. So for Central Catholic, who's been really sweet? Sophomore quarterback Michael Milano, who's and of course we have the Milanos in his name today. But Central Catholic's been playing great all year. Tremendous defense, of course, but Milano stepped in real nicely as a sophomore, no less, to lead that offense. Should be another close game. I mean, what do you think?
I mean, you have two 9-1 teams who have certainly had their share of big games that they won, but I think where Central Catholic might run into trouble is if they get into a shootout with Andover. And Andover has proved all year, starting with their game against North Andover in Week 1, 50-35, and I think that might be maybe not so high scoring on Thanksgiving, but I think it might be trending in that direction. I mean, you look at Central Catholic's last games: Lowell 42-34 win, and then the week before that, Billerica 42-23. And I think that if Central can get caught up in one of those games, that Andover definitely has the potential with Will Heikkinen and Cam Farnham and quarterback C.J. Scarpa.
Yeah, I look at, for Central Catholic, that they've played a lot of high-powered teams, and they've been able to actually shut them down. I mean, North Andover scoring 31 points a game, and they held them to 16. Tewksbury scored 29 points a game, and they held them to 7. So this is an above-average, well above-average defense going against a well-above-average offense on what should be a really nice Thursday morning. So, it could go both ways. I'm going to go with Central Catholic in the way that their defense has been playing. I think if they could kind of get in Scarpa's head a little bit, maybe force him to make some bad throws early on, and then have Andover trying to come from behind, that's, I think, the game that they're going to want to play. I got Central Catholic 21, Andover 14. What do you got?
I'm going to go a little bit higher than that, and I'm going to say Andover at 30 and Central Catholic at 24.
Should be two really good games. Of course, we'll have all the games covered on Boston.com on Thursday, so in between stuffing breaks, be sure to check us out, and we'll see you next week.